My name is James Quintel, the Fighting Cowboy, and you're watching my manager and the host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Forget about it.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini, and you're listening in to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Now, Brad's told me he's won many accolades for this interview show. I haven't seen any. And he's told me he's world-renowned for his interview style, his charming personality. I doubt that. And he told me he can get anybody on his show because everybody wants to do it. I don't. So, Brad, at this point, this is where you want me to say your stupid line, right? But I'm not going to say it. I keep telling you I'm not going to say it. So, until then, listen in to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. And Brad, do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
I'm John Ruiz, two-time WBA heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching my man, Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Forget about it.
This is Alfonso Ratliff. You're watching the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Forget about it.
This is David Diaz, 1996 U.S. Olympian, former WBC lightweight champion of the world, and you're listening to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Forget about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the man with the fedora, the pinky ring, and the New York thing. You know him for his catchphrase, forget about it. You know him as the author of the world-renowned book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. You know his snazz, you know his jazz, you know him for all that pizzazz. When it comes to boxing commentary, he does the most. Without further ado, here's your host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, Bad Brad Berkwitt.
How did all these people get in my room? Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. Forget about it. Now before I bring out my guests and introduce them, being a New Yorker, I have to address 9/11 today. It's been 18 years since the biggest tragedy, at least during my lifetime, that I've ever seen. When it happened, I was in the Navy at that time, actually in recruiting. They shut us down where we were at. We went on lockdown, and I knew one person that died that day in the Pentagon. I served with him in the ceremonial guard, so God rest his soul. I've never forgotten. If you look on my book cover, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime, you'll see out the window, it came out in 2002, you'll see out the window the Twin Towers. There's a reason for that. That's me saying I'll never forget you. So it's a sad note, but you're never forgotten. And I also want to make a point, and this has nothing to do with politics. The firefighters and the policemen that were there that are dealing with the smoke to this day, a lot of them died. Whatever the fund is called, I don't know the name of the fund exactly, to take care of those guys. I don't care what side you're on, doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, independent, I don't care. Those guys need to be taken care of. They were out there, they risked their lives, a lot of them perished in the Twin Towers. So this isn't political, this is a human being issue. So I want to see, I know they passed it, but I want to see it continued. And their families, where the money was supposed to go and everything else, need to take care of them. So again, on that note, remember all of you, God rest your soul. Now let's start the show. With that said, I have on a very, very, very popular boxer around here. Kenny Angotti, you said get him on, we got him on. Jack Callahan, all these guys, we were running these names before we started shooting. Said you got to get this guy on, you got to get this guy on. So before I shake his hand, he's one of the most popular fighters, even though he doesn't come from Northwest Indiana. He seems to be really, really popular out here because everybody still talks about him. His nickname was the Choir Boy, and now off camera, I don't know how true that is. We're going to find out why they call him the Choir Boy. But with that said, I want to welcome to the show, Michael Landini.
Thanks, Brad.
What's up, buddy?
Glad to be here.
We're going to get down to that Choir Boy thing.
Roger that.
Before we start, though, I want to read a quote I got about you. Now, this isn't from a bill collector, I want you to know, so don't be scared to run off. Mike epitomized what local boxing was all about. He was a guy who could fight and had a big following. He had movie star looks and was the total package. He was a fighter that all the guys looked up to and rooted for. He is and was such a gentleman, you always wanted to see him succeed. Any guess who would say that?
A trainer?
Your trainer? Nope. Bobby Hicks.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, Bobby Hicks sent me that quote. Like I said before we start shooting, we're going to talk a little boxing, a little life after the commercial break. It's going to be a bunch of fun questions. I'm going to throw them at you. This is all about you, so what you say is what goes on that camera. If there's anything you need to get out that you wanted to get out and you have a chance during your career, now is the time. And we'll try to stay away from the F-bombs because you got an Italian, half Italian here, so you know we're going to probably do the hand talking. First thing I want to ask you is, where did you grow up?
South side of Chicago, South area. 106th and Torrance, the old Wisconsin Steel.
Okay.
Mills.
What was it like back then?
Great.
Growing up?
Great neighborhoods. Everybody was tight-knit. You know, the parks were open. Everybody was hanging out. It was a great time.
Okay.
Great time to be a kid in the south side of Chicago back then.
Now, I can't remember, did Johnny Lira come from the south side?
Johnny Lira?
Yeah.
I thought he was up. No, Johnny Lira wasn't from the south side. Not from that far south.
Okay.
So I don't know where he came from though.
All right. What in your childhood made you want to box?
Stay out of jail. You know, it was just, when it just seemed to be, my father passed away when I was 15, and I didn't have a whole lot going on. He was either hanging out in the neighborhood with the boys, or getting in trouble, or going to hang out in the gym and staying out of trouble, and kind of doing what I like doing, fighting.
So what led you to the gym? Did you see a buddy of yours working out, or?
No, just walked in there one day, seen a couple guys fighting. I thought, oh, that'd be pretty cool. So I just went ahead and put on a pair of gloves, and that was it. I was 15. Yeah.
Now, what gym was that?
Trumbull Park.
Okay.
Right there in Benson.
Now, did you have an amateur boxing career?
I did. Short. It wasn't that long. I mean, I fought in the CYO. I fought in the Park District. I fought in the Golden Gloves. And, I turned 18 and joined the service.
Let's talk about that, because I didn't know that doing my research. What year did you come in? You said Army, correct?
Right.
You came in 77?
77. I went in 77. I got in 1981.
Okay, and you did what in the Army?
I was an armor scout. Worked with M113s out of Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Kentucky, okay. Kentucky, an interesting place.
Right. It was nice. I like Kentucky. I had a lot of fun there. I had a lot of fights there. Fought at Greg Page's gym down there in Louisville. That's where I trained a lot, down there in the city. We had some training that we did on Fort Knox on the base, but majority of the time I found myself in Louisville getting work.
Now, did you fight in the Army team?
I did.
Do you remember your coach?
No. The one I had in Fort Knox was a guy named Mike Alexander. He was a sergeant first class. He was the first guy I hooked up with on base in Fort Knox, Kentucky. It was Sergeant Alexander, a good guy.
Okay.
And he was the one that got me interested in fighting, getting ready for the All-Army team to go down to Bragg.
Okay. For you, I always ask this because I'm always curious about it. From going to amateurs into the pros, was there one thing that you really enjoyed being in the pros vice the amateur ranks?
Really liked. Yeah.
A lot of guys say headgear, taking the headgear off, or that didn't bother you?
I kind of like the headgear. Heck, saved a lot of pain.
Okay.
No. Gloves were lighter. I think I like the lighter gloves.
Okay.
If I had to pick one or the other, the lighter gloves were better.
Okay.
And you didn't have to fight as fast. You can pretty much be a technician and thinker, and especially when you went into the 10-rounders, when you started fighting long distance.
Okay. Turned professional in 81?
1981, December of 1981.
December of 81. You, as a middleweight?
Junior middle.
Junior middle, but you also fought middleweight?
I moved up later on in my career.
Okay, so you fought 154 turning pro.
Yeah, I fought 154 and then I turned to 160 later on in my career.
Okay, if you had to compare the junior middleweights in 1981 at the top level when you turned pro to today, how would you compare them?
Oh, back then was so much, they were so much more polished, and the 154s back then were great.
Right.
Fight game now, it's not what it used to be back in the 80s. Let's talk about
talent.
Yeah, the talent. I'm not saying there's no talent out there today, don't get me wrong. There's some talent out there, but look at the fights back in the 80s.
Oh, I agree with you.
The 80s was the best time. Wild World of Sports was the best time to be a fighter that was My number one goal was to be on Wild World of Sports one day. Never got that chance, but those were the fighters of the fighters. The 80s were the fighters.
Okay. Deb, if you would zoom in on his shirt as well. As you can see, Mike wore his 9/11. Put your glasses up for a minute. There you go. Much respect. That's Santino saying that he needs treats because he's human. If we could, can we zoom in on the plaque? Now, you got inducted into the Chicago Boxing Hall of Fame in 2015. I think you went in with Bobby, right?
Yeah, Bobby Hance, Leroy Murphy, I think, was in there. All the fighters from the early 80s when I first got out of the service.
Okay.
It was the first one that they started.
Okay.
It was in November 2015.
All right, and like all reality shows, if you hear our guys cutting the grass out there, because you couldn't get anything, all I need now is someone to knock on the door. But that's our grass cutters, and they better do a damn good job. Let's talk about this belt right here, Mike.
That belt right there, I fought Roosevelt Green in the junior middleweight. It was the Illinois junior middleweight championship of Illinois in 80. I gotta think, it's been so long. 81, 82. I think it was in 1983. It was a 10-round decision. I fought Roosevelt Green at the Bismarck.
At the Bismarck, okay.
It was a hell of a war.
Okay. You sure it's not Roosevelt Green out here cutting the grass? So
Nah.
So
It's gonna sound
they can override us talking. All right. Looking at your record, it looks like you went to about 16-0 as a professional fighter before you suffered your first loss against Raul Navia, I think in Vegas. Is that right? Was it TKO, KO?
Yeah, I got knocked out in the second round.
Okay.
It was my first, my real first fight out of state because I was pretty comfortable with fighting home cooking.
Okay.
You know, Kelson.
How did that change you as a fighter? Did it give you a different mindset?
And it was, you know what, it was just a lot of issues back then. It just wasn't the fight. It was the Vegas atmosphere. It was 3 weeks of training down there. It's a whole different atmosphere in itself. Because when you're fighting up there in that heat, 115 down at the gym, you're running in the mountains in the daytime. There was some,
You weren't at Johnny Taco's gym, right?
no.
No.
I can't remember where we fought down there, but I mean, when we trained for 3 weeks, it was brutal. I never want to do it again, ever again in life.
Okay.
But I think, and I don't try to make excuses. The kid knocked me out, it is what it is. But the training down there was totally different than training up in here in the Midwest.
Okay.
I mean, it was just ugly.
Now after that one, you reeled off 8 straight wins. And one name you had on your ledger, who I always enjoyed back in the day, was Wilbur Vampire Johnson. He was such a character with the coffin and the tea, and coming in the cape and all that. I think probably 3, 4 guys on this show I've had on fought Wilbur Vampire Johnson. What was it like? And you beat him. I think it was a split decision, if the record is right. What was it like fighting Wilbur?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, we fought Wilbur. Wilbur was name recognition. You know, he had been around for a while. The only problem was he was a middleweight, alleged middleweight. By the time fight night came along, he was probably a light heavy. And I was still just a junior middleweight. I had to move up. The junior middleweight division for me was running out of fighters.
Okay.
There was nobody left to fight. Roosevelt Green, all your top-notch fighters, all were getting knocked off. So we said, hey, to make the money, we had to move up in weight class. So we started picking off guys like Carlos Type, Vampire Johnson, Johnny Collins. You know, we started. So I was the guy that had to move up. Those guys were all solid 160s.
Right.
I wasn't.
Right.
Type was he's light heavyweight by the time I fought him. But you know, those guys were I just had to move up to get some name recognition.
We're talking about Carlos Type, March 22nd, 85. From everybody that talks about this fight that I've talked to, Jack Callahan and a bunch of other people said, probably the biggest fight in Northwest Indiana. I want to say he said almost 6,000 people or several thousand people at least were there, rooting both of you guys on. Tough fight, from what I understand. Everybody said it was a tough fight. I know you won the fight. What are your recollections about the fight? And also talk about what I did find researching, that all those years later when you guys got into your 40s, that you wanted to fight again. But talk about the original fight.
Yeah, the original fight was electric. I mean, just the hype up to the fight, the crowd, it was a packed house, the fire department shut it down.
Wow.
It was way over capacity. I couldn't tell you. I'd probably say I don't know what Civic Center holds, whatever the hell, we had people falling out the window, that's how packed it was. Tough fight. My job was just to box tight. You know, it was his backyard. We decided to fight him there. It was exciting. I was a Cal City policeman at the time. I had all my fellow officers there walk me in the ring. The crowd was crazy.
Okay.
You know, Indiana, Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right over the border.
Right.
Cal City, Hammond. Yeah, it was pretty chaotic, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay. All the years later, you guys become senior citizens. I know you weren't senior citizens, but
Pretty
you're in your
close.
40s, right?
Yeah, pretty
you know,
close,
It was like for the Geritol
right.
belt.
Yeah, right.
The talk was you guys were going to fight. Who was pushing that fight more?
I think I was probably doing it.
Okay.
I think he was game too. We did a radio talk show. I think it was on WJOB. I think, was it WJOB? It might have been. We did a little talk show there. We were trying to promote the fight, but the problem was, you know, you're talking 20 years later. I didn't gain any weight. He gained a little bit of weight. You know what I mean? So, but the problem was the weight issue.
Okay.
What are we going to weigh in at? I said I'd go up to middleweight. He said he'd come down to at least maybe light heavy, maybe.
Okay.
You know, but it was just too much weight. I think it would have been a good sparring session. I think we still could have.
Who was trying to promote it? It wasn't Octavius James, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was. Rest his soul, right? Because he passed away. Great guy. Yeah, he did. He was the one that started. He started trying to get that together. I think we could have packed that house again. Probably both would have ended up in a nursing home.
You would have been like in the scene with Rocky. You're going to be no rematch. You're both getting wheeled to the emergency room. Your eyes out to hear Apollo Creed's.
And that's probably how it was the time we both fought.
Okay.
So.
The Choir Boy. How did you get it? The nickname?
I got that name at Felix's bar in Riverdale. I just got out of the service. Dick Buckus's brother, what I'm hearing, was in the bar, and I was getting ready to sign my contract, and somebody had asked, who's that young kid coming in, because I just got out of the service. And he said, oh, that's one of Jimmy's fighters. And Jimmy Dagnello was my manager.
Okay.
And he said, that's one of Jimmy's fighters over there. And I said, they don't look like a fighter, looks like a choir boy. And ever since then, we just took on that name, and that was it.
Who was your trainer back in the day?
I had two. I had Tony Avila. Tony was Johnny Collins. I was in Johnny Collins' camp when I first turned pro.
So you used to spar with him?
We used to spar with him, work out, travel, fight on the undercard.
Okay.
And then pretty much cut ties, went my own way after the Vegas fight.
Oh, after the Nava fight.
After the Vegas fight, yep, we parted ways, and I ended up with a guy that was out in Chesterton, Coons Lake. Russ Nyberg, rest his soul, great guy, both of them, Tony Avila and Russ Nyberg, two of the greatest guys I ever had the opportunity to be with and be trained by. But I ended up with Russ, and then it ended up being that Russ and Tony, two guys that grew up together, the two trainers, we ended up fighting the same fighter.
And then the next question is Collins, the Collins fight.
Collins
Talk
fight.
about that.
Yeah, just if I go back to that day again, 3 inches back, and he would have never hit me with that right hand. The right hand was nothing. It wasn't like it took me out. It was just one of them where it just skimmed.
Right.
I had my mouth open, caught it. I said, wow, something don't feel right. My mouth is numb. Took one knee.
You break your jaw?
Spit blood. Went back to the corner. And came out for a little bit, and I couldn't fight with a broken jaw. I'd never want to fight with a broken jaw.
Which is amazing how he did it against Norton. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, right.
He was on another level. I don't know how he did it.
I mean, it was just stuff just clicking and clanking, and that was enough for me.
Okay. If you had to look back on your professional career and say, that fight was the best you saw Mike Landini, what fight would you say it is?
The best fight? I'd probably have to take the Roosevelt Green fight. I'd probably say that was the best fight.
Okay.
It was the best, it was the toughest, it was exhausting, it was second wins, one way after another. I mean, you know, people say, oh, you get a third and fourth second win, you get them.
Okay.
They come. Well, I think Roosevelt Green would probably be my best fight. Even though I was down 3 times, I would still say that was the best one.
Okay.
I'll never forget.
Now, looked like you retired in 88, is that correct?
88.
Okay. Catch the viewers up, the younger viewers that are younger than us. What have you been up to since you retired from boxing?
Got married, 2 kids, got a son, got a daughter. My son's a chef downtown, my daughter's a nurse at the university. My wife works at the university. No grandkids yet.
I was going to ask you. Okay.
Yeah, no grandkids yet. Got a wedding in the near future with my daughter. Yeah, just working.
What type of work do you do?
Policeman. I work for the railroad. I've been there for 17 years. I worked in Harvey for a stint. I worked in Cal City. So just get the age now where I'm just looking at the retirement.
Okay.
2 more years to go and I'm just going to pull the plug.
Gotcha. If you had the power to change one thing in professional boxing, what would you change?
If I had the power to change one thing, I don't think I'd change anything. I don't think there's anything to change. I mean, I wouldn't change anything.
Okay.
I mean, nah, I wouldn't change anything. I'd leave it just the way it was.
All right. Before we go into a commercial break, I want you to look at the camera. And if you would, with all your years' experience in the ring, what's the one piece of advice you give a young man or woman wanting to turn professional? Go ahead and look at the camera.
Just stay focused. I mean, if that's the career you want to choose, just you got to work hard, you got to train hard, you got to give your whole life to the sport. You know, don't take no shortcuts.
Okay, good advice. On that note, with Santino tipping around and the grass cutters are now gone, they better do a good job of cutting into my show. We're going to take a short commercial break.
At the Rosemont Rumble, Saturday, September 21st at the Dome in Rosemont. Join us for a sporting event unlike any other done the Hits Boxing way, where celebrities, friends, and families come together for a night of professional boxing. This event's fight card includes Nick Ramirez, who's making his return to the Hits Boxing ring. Danny Williams, whose 23-3 record with 18 knockouts, enters our ring for the first time as well. And speaking of first times, David Bozak makes his pro debut. Our main event of the evening features Tommy White Lightning Hughes, who's fighting for the WBC title, and he's going to have to go through the 25-3 Mike Bravonsky to get. Tickets for the Rosemont Rumble are now on sale at Eventbrite and the HitsBoxing.com website. Hits Boxing's Rosemont Rumble is brought to you in part by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys, the MZI Group, El Nacimiento Tequila, the Provence Group, and Bobby Hits' Giglio's on State Street Tavern. Hits Boxing. It's better live.
Hey folks, this is the man with the fedora, the pinky ring, and the New York thing. Forget about it, Bad Brad Berkwitt. And I got an exciting opportunity for people that would like to sponsor the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show or advertise with me. If you're interested, call the Ringside Report office at 703-517-2155, or you can send me a business email to BBERKWITT, B Berkwitt, my last name of course, at AOL.com. And one more time, that phone number is 703-517-2155. Sponsors and advertisers, we're looking for you. All right? Forget about it. Hey folks, this is the man with the fedora, the pinky ring, and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And what do Gene Fulmer, Aaron Pryor, James Quick Tillis, Davey Pearl, Joey Bishop, Al Martino, Jerry Vale, and Roy Jones Jr. all have in common? Well, they are some of the many interviews in my boxing book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. Now, if you would like to pick up a copy of this book, go to authorhouse.com. Again, that's authorhouse.com. And if you would like it personally autographed, all you have to do is pay postage and handling to St. John, Indiana, back to your location, and I will sign it the way you would like it, or I can put a personal description that I think you would like in it. All right? Forget about it. Hey folks, this is Bad Brad Berkwitt, and I'm the personal manager for James Quick Tillis. Now, a short little bio on him. On October 3rd, 1981, he faced Mike Weaver for Mike's WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World and went 15 rounds. Dropped a close decision to him. Fast forward to May 3rd, 1986, when James Quick Tillis took on a then young Mike Tyson, who was 19-0 with 19 knockouts. Quick took him the distance, and he was the first man to do that, and he laid the blueprint that Buster Douglas would take 4 years later and wind up beating Iron Mike Tyson. Now, with that said, if you would like to book James Quick Tillis for personal autograph signings, TV, movie events, personal appearances, you can reach out to me at the Ringside Report office at 703-517-2155. Again, that's 703-517-2155. Or you can send me a business email to bberkwitt@AOL.com. Again, I am the personal manager for James Quick Tillis, also known as the Fighting Cowboy. Forget about it. All right, folks, we're now back. Here comes the real fun part of the interview. Throw a bunch of random questions at you. Whatever you say is what the answer is. Favorite fighter of all time?
Favorite fighter of all time? There were so many back then. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
He's on the top of the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite fight of all time?
Favorite fight? Gotta be... Gotta be a Roberto Duran and a Leonard fight.
The first one? Obviously the first one. The second one
was in Omaha.
Yeah. Right, up in Montreal when Duran beat him 15 rounds. Okay. Favorite boxing commentator?
Howard Cosell, right?
Love him.
You know?
Down goes Frazier.
Yeah, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Okay. Now we know what his favorite football team is. What's your favorite?
Well, I have two favorites.
Okay.
So, and not many.
That's because he wants to ride home?
No, and I wouldn't even mention that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even wear that shirt.
Okay.
Right?
It's the Bears, because everybody's going to be wondering, what the hell shirt was he wearing off camera? The Bears.
I can't.
Which I got nothing against the Bears.
Yeah, and I can't even have that.
You can't even say that, you know,
Nah,
bad taste.
so, you know, Green Bay and New England.
And you guys just beat him. Wasn't a good game, though. You're not to be proud of there.
No,
that
it
game
wasn't.
sucked.
I mean, it wasn't, but, you know, two of the...
And you said New England?
New England.
You like balls that are deflated, huh?
I call it what you want to call it. You know, they're still the greatest.
I give them the props. Favorite basketball team?
Favorite. You know what? I never. You know, I gotta say the Bulls. You know, the Jordan. Yeah, Paxton.
Okay.
That 92 was that it? When they won the first one? Was that the first one they won in 92?
I'm not sure.
Was it 92?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie says it's probably
that
right.
was it.
Favorite I said basketball. Baseball team.
Baseball team. I gotta say I'm a Cubs fan. You know. Yeah, I love the Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite types of movies.
Favorite types of movies. Favorite types. I like the westerns.
Okay.
You know, I like the westerns, the Clint Eastwood westerns, the John Waynes.
Okay.
You know.
Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Favorite? Yeah, well, I've got a ton of favorite movie of all times. I mean, God, I love the movie Meet Joe Black, and I hope that one.
Okay. With Brad Pitt.
ranked.
Yeah,
That's
I think Anthony Hopkins was in that too.
Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. Me,
Okay.
Joe Black.
Okay.
You know, I got a lot of other ones, but that was just the one that pops into my mind. Tin Cup's another one too. I
Kevin
can put
Costner,
more.
that was a good
I can do
one.
more than one, right?
I don't care.
Yeah, who
Tin
cares?
Cup is good.
Yeah,
Kevin Costner.
Tin
I
Cup's
think
in that one.
Cheech Marin was his caddy, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think Don Johnson was in there too.
Don
from
Johnson
Miami
was
Vice.
in that one. Tin Cup's a good one.
Okay.
I like, we'll stop at 2. But
Okay.
that's good.
Favorite male actor?
Oh, wow. God, I know I'm gonna probably change my mind when I get home, but favorite. Gotta say Joe Pesci, man.
Okay.
I love Joe Pesci.
Yeah, me too.
De Niro's another one.
All right.
You know?
If you had to pick a Pesci film, I noticed.
You gotta
Goodfellas?
yeah, you gotta pick Goodfellas.
Okay.
I mean, you got to. That's,
Tommy DeVito.
You got to.
How am I funny, Henry?
You
How the F am
yeah,
I
right,
funny,
yeah,
Henry?
right.
Funny how?
Yeah, right.
I like when he cracks the bottle over the guy's head,
Yeah.
and he says, the guy says, you owe me 7 large here. For, it's a lot of money on the tab. He said, he cracks it, he embarrassed me in front of my friend, he cracks the bottle over his head, and he says, 7,000. He said, you believe this? I'm not going to curse. You believe this guy last week wanted me to christen his son? $7,000. Great movie.
Yep.
Flip it. Favorite actress?
Favorite actress? Right off the top of my head, the famous actress. I don't know, right off the top of my head, I quite
Tough. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Just doesn't hit me. It might come to me in a minute.
It'll come to you, text me.
Yeah.
Favorite musical band?
Musical band? Earth, Wind and Fire.
Great one.
Yeah.
You know who just
Love
said,
them.
who was that? No, not Marty. Who came out, was it Montel said it was an Earth, Wind and Fire song, I think was his favorite fantasy. Philip, it was, because it's Philip
I think they
Taylor.
were just at,
Yeah.
was it, where were they at? Four Winds about a year ago? I
Okay.
think they showed up over there about a year ago. I thought.
Earth, Wind and Fire,
Yep.
fantastic. Would that be your favorite, what's your favorite concert you've ever seen? Is it Earth, Wind and Fire?
Yeah, that would be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a favorite song? Not of Earth, Wind and Fire, or it could be, any song. I'm waiting for a Sinatra thing, man, you let me down.
Oh, be My Way. No doubt. My Way.
No,
New
I
York,
don't want to
New
pick it
York.
for you, I'm just throwing it in there.
No.
One time, you gotta tell you half a time, no
My
Sinatra.
Way, My Way, New
Hard.
York, New York. I mean, you.
But that may not be your favorite song. What's your favorite song? I don't care who it is. It could be Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm putting Sinatra out there.
Oh no, I would probably. No, I would probably sit there and say I got a lot of favorites, man. There's just not when you start
Tough
getting it when you get the best like Sinatra and Earth, Wind and Fire and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, you're talking Rat Pack, the best of the best.
Okay.
They're all favorites.
All right. The man question. Favorite type of car? Muscle car, sports car, whatever.
I'm not a car guy.
We
I'm
heard.
just not a car guy. I mean,
Okay.
I can. There's no car like a Mustang rolled out there. I thought, wow, man, I'd love to jump in it. I can care less.
Okay.
You know, I'm just not a car guy.
All right. Favorite noise or sound you like to hear?
Favorite noise or sound? Running water.
I don't know what makes you like running water, just out of curiosity.
Just peaceful.
Peaceful? Flip it. Least favorite noise or sound.
Gunshots.
Yeah, I would think so. A lot of work you were in. Okay. Favorite food?
Pasta, meatballs.
Mama good cook, grandmother good cook?
Yep, grandma.
Yeah. Big Italian family?
Everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Noodles, everything.
You are Italian, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Because it ends in an I, so
I, yeah.
you know if it ends in a vowel, you're mafia.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, well,
So that's why you walked in and talking about a button. I have to explain to Debbie what a button is, because her favorite movie is The Godfather,
Okay.
especially when he says, I'm Mo Green. I was going out with cheerleaders, you know, till Mo got it in the eye. She wasn't a fan of Mo's no more. She moved on. All right. If you were to hit the lottery tomorrow, Mike, what would you do with the money?
Stop working. I'm not gonna hit the lottery. I'm just not.
That's actually a realistic answer, because I know I'm not either, because I don't
I mean,
play.
I almost hit it,
Really?
and I was one number away. So to hit it,
You had to win something off of that.
yeah, it's peanuts, but you know, it's like losing. But,
Okay. All right.
I mean, yeah, and I don't even think anything like that's not realistic.
Okay. Favorite vacation destination?
Oh, California.
What part?
Huntington Beach.
Oh, Huntington Beach. I used to go there. Yeah, in fact, I interviewed Joey Bishop years ago. He lived in Huntington Beach for years. All right. If you could meet one person, it could be from any walk of life. Doesn't have to be boxing, or it could be. One person from any time in history. Who would you like to meet, and what would your question be for him?
One person. I don't know, man.
You're going to regret it. You're going to say, man, I should have said.
Yeah, no.
Can't edit it in. Once it's there, it's there. No.
I don't know. You got another question?
Yeah, I got more questions. You can think about
I'm going to
that.
come back to that.
All right. With everything we discussed, boxing, life, family, if you had to sum yourself up as a human being, nothing to do with the sport of boxing, but as a human being, how would you sum yourself up?
Decent guy. Easy going.
Okay.
You know? Bad too. Tough.
Okay.
You know?
Let's flip it back to the other one. One more shot at it. If you don't have one, it's fine. There's no right or wrong answer there. If you don't have one, you don't have one. I don't want to give you a shot at it because.
And if I had to
pick one person from any time in history to meet, who would you want to meet? And what would you ask them? What the first?
Well, I don't know. If that's a tough one. I mean, like I said, if I had a chance to meet somebody right now, right? That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to meet my father again, who passed away.
Okay.
You know, when I was young.
Right.
You know, just to catch up on time.
Okay.
You know, to be where I'm at right now. You know, at 60 years old, we can get caught up. That's what I'd like to meet right now.
Okay. God rest his soul.
Yep.
Jack said when I asked that question,
I get a cramp in my foot. Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. When I asked Jack, I didn't know. You know Jack Allen,
right?
I didn't know he lost 2 sons. So when I asked him that question, Patrick was the little one that killed in a car accident, and Jack said, "I'd like to meet my son," which was very touching. And he said, "This is going to be sad." I said, "No, it's not sad. It's okay because we're human beings. I miss my father every day of my life, every day." And Jack said, "Patrick," and he said, "I tell him Daddy loves you." So I respect that. And somebody else said their father, I can't remember who it was. They said, no, it was their brother, David Diaz. Brother passed away, I guess, years back, and he said, "I'd like to meet him and hug him." Last question. Do you have a saying you live your life by?
I probably do. I mean, my buddy would probably know more than I would because I don't think of the goofy stuff that I say every day. I don't.
You want to tell him? You can say it. What does he say?
What do I say?
Is it clean?
Work smart.
Huh?
Work smart.
Work
Work smart. You know what? I've said that, but I added a part when I was in the Navy. I used to tell people, work smarter, not harder. You know, people probably would see saying, right. What I'd like you to do, Mike, is look at the camera. This is your platform. Say whatever you want. Once you send out a message to your family, your friends, and all your boxing fans. Whatever you say is going on straight at the camera.
I just want to thank my family for being there during the whole time I was fighting. I mean, it was a great time. I mean, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, you know, she grew up during all them fights and endured all them hospital stays and pain and everything else. My friends that are out there, thanks for your support. Had a great time, met a lot of great people, had some great trainers. The fighters I met back then were all solid guys and still are, the ones that are living, you know, solid people. So, no, I had a great time. It was a great time to grow up. It was a great time to be a fighter. I loved it, and I'd do it all over again.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad Kenny got us in touch. I know Johnny called you too. Everybody's blowing up your phone.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I guess the word's getting around. So, all right, folks. That's another name, another guest that you wanted me to get on. Kenny, thank you. Angotti Landscaping. I got to give him a plug. It's another show in the can. Forget about it. And as Frank Sinatra sang so eloquently, so long ago, the best is yet to come. Bad Brad out.